Hello, everyone, those who joined us now and those who will be watching the recording of this webinar. I think we gathered here to discuss very important question and very interesting report also done in the scope of GEO-POWER-EU project. This is a Horizon project. Horizon EU is a multilateral or multi-country program on scientific cooperation. The name of the webinar is the Eastern Partnership Still Relevant? Strategic Path for EU-EaP Relations. We know that for the moment there are several challenges that Eastern Partnership faces. And I think it will be really interesting to discuss these issues with the authors of the report, also with representatives of very important organizations. I would say this is Alexandra Sabu, first of all, whom I want to give floor first. She represents the EaP Civil Society Forum Secretariat. And I would like to stress that the EaP Civil Society Forum facilitated and helped us to organize this seminar. They really contributed a lot, their time and effort in organizing this seminar. And then Asuman Kubra Bas, who is head of projects and research, European Neighborhood Council, but she also is responsible for public relations of the GEO-POWER project, GEO-POWER-EU project, in the scope of which this report was written. And let's, Alexandra, please, floor is yours first. Yes.
Kaha, thank you very much for first of all for the invitation to support you and other project partners in the organization of this webinar. I think the question that you raise in your paper is extremely relevant for the Eastern Partnership countries, but also for the EU in itself. Is the Eastern Partnership still relevant at the moment? From the perspective of the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum, that is, as many of you know, is the largest network of civil society organizations from the EaP countries and the EU, the answer is clear. The Eastern Partnership policy remains relevant. Due to different reasons that I'm sure you will dwell more in your interventions. But maybe I can say just one point, just to open to pave the way towards the conversation that you will have, meaning that the Eastern Partnership policy and the enlargement policy are intertwined. They support and endorse each other. At the moment, we see an EaP region which is more and more fragmented, and I think there's a need for a more pragmatic and decisive approach when it comes to the EaP policy, but also to the enlargement in relation to Moldova and Ukraine, and also Georgia, which we all know it's in a more difficult situation as we speak. I would be happy to contribute to the discussion, and since we are the host of this webinar, or the co-host, I would also like to invite participants who joined us from all the countries of the EaP and many countries of the EU to not be shy and use the Q&A chatbot and ask questions, make comments, and stay with us till the end. We'll have this webinar for 1 hour. And as the discussion progresses, we will also share in the chat some of the resources that our distinguished speakers will share with us, will mention in their interventions. So for now, that's all from me, and yeah, happy to contribute to the discussion and listen to your recommendations and insights. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Alexandra, very much. Now, Asuman, please, go ahead. Also, I would like to stress as well that Asuman also and her colleagues contributed a lot in organizing this seminar as well. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Kaha, and thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. I also want to thank Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum and Alexandra and her colleagues for partnering with us for organizing this event. So before we move into the discussion of the report, I will briefly introduce the project behind it, GEO-POWER-EU. So the project starts from a series of assumptions. First, we think Russia's war against Ukraine has fundamentally challenged many of the core assumptions on which European security was built. The geopolitical environment around the EU, we think, has significantly impacted. And as a result, existing EU policies towards the Western Balkans and the associated TRIA countries can no longer operate on business as usual logic. They require serious revision and strategic adaptation. And second, enlargement policy and the Eastern Partnership have both reached a critical point, we believe. We think the war didn't create this critical juncture, but it accelerated significantly and exposed it. So we think the EU now needs a clearer geopolitical vision and more reliable tools to act effectively in its eastern neighborhood and in the Western Balkans. Traditionally, as you know, these two regions have been studied and often managed as two distinct policy areas under different political logics. However, after the invasion of Ukraine, this separation no longer reflects the geopolitical reality. Our project therefore analyzes both regions together as interconnected theaters of EU geopolitical engagement. And against this background, the main objective of GEO-POWER-EU is to contribute to the empowerment of the European Union in managing these security threats within this challenging geopolitical environment. Our project aims to articulate a comprehensive strategy towards these two regions, a strategy that employs new and reformed policy instruments and that takes into account the strategic ambitions of other geopolitical actors such as USA, China, and others. And methodologically, we combine traditional quantitative and qualitative research with digital methods as well, such as sentiment analysis, as well as foresight exercises and scenario testing. So we analyze the past, assess the present, and test the possible features. A key output of the project is the GEO-POWER-EU interdependence database. This database actually maps how these 9 countries are linked to 5 major external actors by covering several dimensions, and it traces how these relationships evolved between 2007 and 2024. And it also allows users to explore trends over time, compare countries and external actors, download data, and examine it. In addition to the database, the project has produced 9 research reports. Today, we will focus on one of them, the report assessing the relevance of the Eastern Partnership in the current geopolitical context, as Kaha mentioned. This report builds on the broader analytical framework of the project and asks whether the Eastern Partnership, as currently designed, is equipped to function in a more securitized and competitive geopolitical environment. With that, without further ado, I would like to thank you once again for joining us and now give the floor to Kaha to pass it to our speakers. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Asuman, and thank you very much, Alexandra. I will not take much time. I will just say a few introductory words, and they will pass to Olga Brusilovska, Professor, Chair, Department of International Relations from Odessa, Menshikov National University, and Associated Professor of the same university, Irena Maximenko, who are authors of this excellent report, I would say, and very thought-provoking report, I would say. I just would like to introduce a little bit, saying that this report has been done in the difficult times for Eastern Partnership, for EU, for Ukraine, first of all, of course, and for any any country related to European integration. And of course, Eastern Partnership as such needs, first of all, it needs anyway permanent reconsidering and permanent reconsideration of its instruments, of its approaches, because time goes on and the environment changes, we change, countries change, and the EU itself also faces different type of the challenges and changes as well. But in these times, especially when there's such a war, such a dramatic war, I would say, goes on in exactly in the area of Eastern Partnership or Eastern Neighborhood or Eastern Partnership countries. In this time, of course, it is even much more important to reconsider and to see what should be added, what should be changed and transformed in the Eastern Partnership. I would remind just the 10 years anniversary of Eastern Partnership when responsible for EU high and security policy said during the opening speech that Eastern Partnership never was designed for the geopolitical aims or to rise geopolitical influence of EU, etc. And I would say that since then, which was a few years ago, actually in 2019. 2019, it was 10 years anniversary of the Eastern Partnership. Many things happened. And today we can surely say that Eastern Partnership, either it goes to become more geopolitical than it was, and more focuses on security issues, on more focuses on specific needs and challenges which the region faces at this moment, or it will fail, of course, with its aim. And the main aim of Eastern Partnership is, of course, to increase and deepen cooperation within the countries of participants of Eastern Partnership, and of course to transform these countries into a European, to help this transformation of these countries into European and democratic societies. So let me now, I will be, of course, posing some questions to authors of the report. Maybe it's better for the moment to listen the authors of the report. What are the main findings according to them? What they want to change in Eastern Partnership? What they consider Eastern Partnership has become weak, or Eastern Partnership didn't deliver actually in areas, and then of course we can all together go to questions and more live discussion. Let me here to stop and ask Professor Olga Brusilovska first to start talking about the report and what she considers most important findings from her report.
Okay,
please
thank you so much.
go on, Olga.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for this webinar. And I should mention that, of course, Odessa team is, first of all, responsible for this report about Eastern Partnership, but with contribution of all our consortium, first of all, colleagues from Georgia, from Moldova, and my special thanks to ASU and the European Neighborhood Council. Actually, without you, anything will be possible with this report. And we just divide our presentation with Irina. So I just say some introductional, again, words about this report. And then Irina tell you about some of our most interesting results in this report. So we need to understand that, first of all, this is very specific thing, Eastern Partnership. And we need to understand that from 2009, only key successes include, for example, the achievement of association agreements, deep and comprehensive free trade areas, as well as visa liberalization with Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia. We can see, yes, but this progress has been neither linear nor consolidated. And nowadays, even such countries, leading countries as Ukraine and Moldova, remains far from achieving satisfactory level of institutional development when measured against their Copenhagen criteria. And Russia aggression has significantly changed their geopolitical environment, thereby challenging all fundamentals of their EaP. First, it questioned the normative approach that underscored the EaP. Second, it prompted the reopening the accession perspective, when the growing differences between EaP partners marked by the granting of candidate status to Ukraine and Moldova and conditionally to Georgia, vague prospects for advancement in Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Belarus. So EU policy now faces existential crisis. So this is the right moment to rethink about this organization. And of course, the idea of reinforcing Europe's role as reliable geopolitical actor through cooperation with these countries, Turkey and some relevant partners and organization is a core part, for example, for one of the last documents of the EU, so-called strategic approach to the Black Sea region. It aimed at promotion long-term peace and security, but the question remains whether the current EU format can help overcome its own shortcomings, withstand the competing policies of Russia and don't forget China, and address the challenges of democratization and securitization that continue to weaken the EU's influence and effectiveness of its Eastern policy. And therefore, the purpose of this deliverable is to analyze to what extent and how the EaP can respond to the changing geopolitical environment in order to help enhance the role of the EU as a geopolitical actors. And just some words about our methodology, because it's important. In our report, first of all, it is based on in-depth elite interviews conducted with the EU's and EaP representatives. And in total, 65 elite interviews were conducted, either in person or via video conference in January to June 2022. Among the interviewees, there are 10 European Union officials and diplomats, 6 representatives of EU academia, representative of regional organization, and the views of EaP state partners are represented by 5 diplomats, 7 policymakers, 14 analysts, 11 NGOs representatives, 5 journalists, and 6 representatives of the private sector. To better capture the relevance of the EaP initiative as a whole, as well as every EaP partner state's internal and external situation, also official EU documents, Eastern Partnership summits, speeches, academic research, and policy papers were utilized as well. So this is about methodology. And to our results, Irina, please.
Well, yes, thank you very much. So I promise to make questions after your presentations. So let's keep. Thank you very much, Olga. And now, Irina, please go on with the in-depth analysis of your report. Actually, we wait from you the explanations. What are the basic findings, and what you propose with this report?
Thank you so much, dear Kaha, and let me also join with my appreciation to the our consortium partners for contributing to this report, and just start maybe answering your question, Kaha, about main findings. It's that we really discovered that it's very up-to-date topic, and there is urgent need to discuss this. To back, also the question is about that Ukrainian, Georgian experts tried to deliver the points, some kind of criticism about Eastern Partnership initiatives, almost since the very beginning when it was launched, and especially during the unfortunate dramatic events in Georgia in 2008, in Ukraine in 2014, and of course in February 2022 with full-scale invasion of Russia that drastically changed the security landscape and geopolitical landscape in our area in the European neighborhood, eastern part of European neighborhood and the Eastern Partnership countries as well. So I would not pay too much attention to some kind of findings. I would just try to maybe to specify some issues that are more or less referred to the key topics pointed out in the beginning, like in the agenda, as well as to provide some interesting, from my point of view, examples of experts and interviews, remarks, because these let us to understand that it's there is behind all our conclusions, there is real words, real concerns, and that's why we are here today to discuss, to draw attention, not only those who are already very familiar with the topic, but also who are interested in them, and also with some maybe conclusions of this meeting provided to the European Union level, and expecting that it helps them to improve the Eastern Partnership with regard to some concerns from the Eastern Partnership countries, partners. So what I would like, first of all, to say, speaking about some kind of relevance of Eastern Partnership to current geopolitical security realities. Yes, I absolutely agree with Olga has already mentioned in her presentation, and it's also outcomes of the research, that Eastern Partnership unfortunately really faces existential crisis. And almost all experts stressed that but there is invasion, Russia's invasion, and it's totally changed. It's put at question European Union responsibilities in the region, as it was declared in many documents, official documents of the European Union. It's also about security issue. About this issue, I will speak a bit later. But it's one of the key issue pointed out by our experts, policymakers, representatives of business and civil societies. It's also about need finally to get rid of this traditional approach to understanding and implementation of Eastern Partnership, to find totally different approach. that helps the European Union, first of all, to maybe not to remain, but turn to be true foreign policy actor in the region, as well as to revive trust from Eastern Partnership country towards the European Union. Unfortunately, this is one of the issue mentioned almost from Ukraine side, from Georgia, from Moldova, even from Armenia and Azerbaijan side. So the main question pointed out by in our report, it's that the previous attempts to review Eastern Partnership have not addressed its structural weaknesses, which most of all emerge as a compilation of various ongoing activities, policies, programs between the European Union and the Eastern partners. And moreover, the recent review in March 2020, of course, it was before invasion. But anyway, what we are talking about, that time, the Eastern Partnership also has failed to provide answers for main questions. What is the ultimate goal of Eastern Partnership? Where should it lead? And what are the timeframes? In general, in 2 words, what next after the Eastern Partnership? Okay, currently we can see that, yes, there is a huge division between Eastern partners with Ukraine, Moldova, and formerly Georgia that have been granted the candidate country status, and others, mostly Armenia and Azerbaijan, and absolutely unclear situation with Belarus that formally out of the program. Anyway, what I wanted to say, how that can be combined, and the situation, the changing geopolitical environments, the emerging new challenges for European Union and partners of this initiative, with the decision of the European Union made during the, if I'm not mistaken, December 2022 joint meeting that confirm or reaffirm the existing format of the Eastern Partnership. So we can see the totally clash between what we have and what is officially declared. And yes, this is the main question: how we combine the format that have been already criticized for several years for irrelevance with this kind of official statement. And a lot of experts during interview, they stress that, for example, the European Eastern Partnership is not relevant anymore. The initiative has failed to be a kind of merit-based but merit-delivered policy to create a zone of political stability and prosperity. And some Georgian experts refer to this. Everything is changing, and the Eastern Partnership also needs new life. Some experts expressed even more harshly, stressing or saying that this initiative currently is artificially keeping alive. So it means that there is some kind of misunderstanding between European Union side and Eastern Partnership partners side. Of course, one of the main concern that it's still and some kind of rigid framework of the Eastern Partnership doesn't address the individual needs of partner countries. And they stress that in bilateral relationships, this program can be revived and can be more efficient and effective. What exactly, speaking about what partner countries expect from the Eastern Partnership now in the future, first of all, yes, it's about to change this multilateral and regional approach to countries of Eastern Partnership. All of them, including and plus also the literature review that also help us to enrich the report, stress that it's not about such different countries as Eastern Partnership. Rather interesting, let me just maybe quote this. One of the Ukrainian representatives argue that such kind of regional approach to countries of Eastern Partnership, this somehow a standardized approach, and it may be seen as a form of manipulation from the European side. And this one is one of the weakest points of the this initiative. It's also about irrelevance of the program to the current security situation, lack of security mechanisms and political bias. Some kind like ending with a question that the Eastern Partnership did not prevent war, did not help post-war. So why should we care? And this is also the question that the European Union has to keep in mind, thinking about how to review Eastern Partnership. In this case, yes, we can say that, and it's related to the next point about security dimension of the Eastern Partnership. Almost every country, representatives from every country stress this irrelevance of Eastern Partnership to security challenges and geopolitical shift in the region. Olga have already mentioned about the normative aspect of Eastern Partnership. And this also about European Union soft tools in the region of Eastern Partnership. And especially the countries like Georgia, Ukraine, even Azerbaijan pointed out that these tools are not relevant anymore. Yes, it's good. They can bring some kind of benefits that can provide some additional platforms or windows for cooperation, for mutual understanding, but it's not enough. Especially if the European Union wants to compete with Russia or China. It must offer something more than just lectures. Another interesting quotation, let me also provide it here, that from Azerbaijan also, but I guess it's also we have the same feelings with within Ukraine, that we want strategic dialogue, not lessons. And European Union should treat us as partners, not students. And here again, as well, I would like to turn to security dimension, and of course, what may help European Union to reshape its approach to enrich the Eastern Partnership as initiative if it wants to keep it alive and effective, but as well to contribute to its geopolitical activeness in Eastern neighborhood. And all experts and all interviews absolutely agree with the point that there is huge lack of security dimension in the Eastern Partnership, and it's one of the greatest weaknesses of it. For many years, especially since 2014, but even since 2008, the experts from Georgia, from Ukraine, and even from Moldova pointed out that European Union just avoided filling the Eastern Partnership with geopolitical contexts due to specific perception of relations with Russia and so on. But now it's not time to keep it, because what we can see from current situation and how we can also think about future, strategically thinking about future, that unfortunately such kind of approach does not help to deal with Russia on the equal balances. Unfortunately, Russia treats both sides, European Union and Eastern Partnership countries, as weak parts, even not partners, parts. So the Russia just, sorry for saying this, but it has been granted with extra time to prepare for invasion of Ukraine, but also preparing for our aggressive policy towards other European countries. One of the reasons, just to ask a point here, a question, maybe we can discuss and hear some also views from our audience. For example, one of the reasons why European Union has been avoiding to thinking about security, to add hard security, not only soft security in the Eastern Partnership. It's about to balance its fundamental values and interests. But may I ask you, don't you think that security is both a fundamental value and an interest of the European Union? And how we can avoid speaking about this? Just very briefly, and I will maybe, yes, round up my speech, that in 2014, the Institute of World Policy made a poll, and almost 38 respondents identify strengthening security as one of the priority areas that reviewed Eastern Partnership should focus on. Strong commitments to security issue from European Union side, from like just summing up the all debates, because it's interesting that, you know, while we were asking different questions, experts from academia, from policy making, they very, very often they turn to security issues. So currently it's one of the most important topic. And it's exactly about how European Union has to think about its future Eastern neighborhood strategy and Eastern Partnership instrument.
Okay,
And,
Irina,
yes,
sorry,
yes,
I should ask you to conclude, because we need also to go on with Q&A questions. And I think Olga also wanted to say something.
Conclusion is my part. Yeah.
I read your chat. Yes. So yes, Irina, sorry, interrupting you. Would you like to conclude with one sentence? Then go to Olga.
Yeah, I guess I already conclude with this final remark about security and the significance to prioritize the Eastern Partnership exactly in this field. And Olga will definitely say more about.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And let's go to what Olga wants to say in addition.
Yes, just to conclude, we understand that in today's situation or today's form, the Eastern Partnership is not relevant actually at all, and it must be transformed into more flexible, differentiated, strategically coherent framework. So the EU must consolidate its foreign policy instruments this is first, prioritize security integration and apply conditionality consistently. It must engage more meaningfully with civil societies, not only governments, while defending democratic values in the face of nowadays authoritarian pushback, unfortunately. So, reformed multi-track EaP, responsive to each partner's unique political trajectory and grounded in both democratic and geopolitical realism, is essential for sustaining EU influence and promoting long-term regional stability.
Okay.
And therefore, we have some policy recommendation and scenarios for future. Main policy recommendations are proposed in this report. Integrate hard security into Eastern policy. Recalibrate the EaP as a differentiated tool. Enhance strategic coherence across all EU instruments. So consolidate and coordinate overlapping initiatives. Then strengthen democratic governance and conditionality. Revisit EaP scope and membership logic. Expand thematic focus with incentives. Means such instrument like Global Europe, for example. Then support regional cooperation and infrastructure connectivity. Means, for example, Trans-European Transport Network, EU for Digital, and some energy initiatives. Enhance financial transparency across EaP-related instruments. Adopt more realistic, value-based approach to democratization. Engage societies, not just institutions. Deepen, people to people.
You mean civil society.
This is,
You mean
yes.
civil society.
Yeah, not maybe through some use exchange, because work with use is very important. And boost visibility and political ownership of the EaP. And now, maybe most interesting thing, as for me, this is three scenarios we propose. Can I just demonstrate it through my screen?
Yes, please. If you can share, I guess.
Here you can see these scenarios. First, recommended after all our work, and two different scenarios, not so good, but possible in the future. So the best scenario, I talk only about this best scenario, this is so-called tailored approach with different EU instruments put together and think more about each partner's progress and EU aspirations. So from our side, we think that first of all, you need to work separately on the track with Ukraine, Moldova, and maybe Georgia, and absolutely different track with Armenia and Azerbaijan. And these two tracks dimension will be more realistic for some successes.
Olga, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, not. I'm sorry interrupting you, because there I could introduce question that Panagiota Manoli, she sent us through chat or through Q&A section. She asked whether in this scenario you could somewhere include a wider audience of states. I mean, she means Central Asia. Could it be considered Central Asian countries somehow under this differentiation scenario to join Eastern Partnership?
Actually, we have had some thoughts from our interviewees that we can include Central Asian republics here and even Turkey, but
Okay.
at the end of the work, we understand that it will be more complicated to work with such big amount of participants. We have a lot of problems with 6, and we cut it to 5. Yes, so now we talk only about Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. So even without Belarus, if we put here new and very, again, specific countries like Central Asia, again, with authoritarian, I don't know how to say about these regimes, but not with European Union values, yes, governments. We have a lot of problem more, so it's not good for surviving of the EaP as a structure,
What about the second and third scenarios? Can you very briefly summarize them?
Yes. The second scenario is very close to first, but it's more about rebranding. So we talk that we need to develop, first of all, so-called clusters, and we need to talk with every country about their own priorities. For example, like energy cooperation, yes, or about, I don't know, high technological new tools for these countries provided by the European Union, and just try to survive without very, very high stakes. So this is more moderate scenario, I think. Just rebrand what we have, and that's all. But this is, as for me, not very good scenario. This is very possible scenario, but not very good, because we need not only rebrand EaP, but absolutely transform it into new structure with new goals and new instruments.
All right. To be more, Alexander reminds me that there are time limitations, and I just want to ask you a final question. I mean to continue with these scenarios. In the third scenario, you say that the existing phase should be replaced with bilateralism, but there is two-track dimension already, right? And with this two-track dimension, there is differentiation, very, very well noticed differentiation. And you want to replace also the multilateral track with bilateral. So to eliminate multilateral track, because the EaP's actually innovation was exactly existence of these two tracks, bilateral and multilateral. And bilateral track was supposed to be in order not to break the rate of those countries which want to make faster progress than the others. But now you propose something new. So you think that multilateral track should be erased practically?
Should be rejected. This is not my proposition, not my point, This is a result of our work with interviewees.
Okay. You summarize.
Of interviewees think that in the future, this multilateral track will end one way or another. And the best way is just do this and close to us in time and think about real ties with the European Union. And real ties with the European Union possible only on bilateral track, because all 5 our countries are so different today. Maybe in 2008 the situation was different and we were closer one to another, but now it's not the option at all. So this third scenario is pessimistic. This is the end of EaP like we know it today.
Yeah. Practically, you suggest in a very polite way to stop EaP and to develop some other forms of bilateral cooperation with different states.
Again, this is not what we want. This is what is possible. What is possible?
All right.
As you see, we recommend first scenario to keep the EaP, not to end this.
All right. Yes. Sorry for Now I understand. So you support first scenario actually.
First scenario. This is recommended
to make some differentiation, but keep the core objectives and core instruments of the Eastern Partnership. Yes. Thank you very much indeed. Let we go now to questions and answers. If I'll see there should be some questions. I am keen to make some questions to you, but let me not abuse. I will not be abusing of my position of moderator. First, I will go to the Q&A section and see who. Panagiota's question we already responded. And let's see the anonymous question from and on Belarus, from Belarus. Well, yes, Belarus seems to be out of the EaP for now. Question 1, do we really see further, sorry, something disappeared. Yeah. Do we really see further development of EaP without Belarus? If so, it already implies a kind of geopolitical logic behind it. Could you respond this, you or Irina? Could you respond this question in a short way, actually, not dedicating too much time? Go ahead, please. So it's about Belarus, actually. If you consider that Belarus should be taken out from EaP, then would it mean that EaP becomes fully geopolitical? So it discriminates between supporters of EU and those who are somehow a little bit distanced from EU.
Actually, again, this is question not for us, but for the European Union. This is position today from the European Union that we just need to frozen all our relation with the Belarus under Lukashenko. So after the end of Lukashenko regime, the European Union return to the same page of our relationship. But now it should be frozen. So this is not our position or position of our interviewees. This is more or less official position of the European Union, Brussels. And if you ask me, I think we need to cooperate further with Belarusian opposition. It's not easy task because we know this opposition is extremely different and I don't know, not consolidated even in some way. The problem doesn't mean we just need to be blind on the problem. We need to work with the problem. And therefore, I think all instruments should be should be involved in this work with opposition, not the regime. I understand this point. But we need to think about millions of Belarusians, and among them representatives of former government and representative of civil society organization in Europe, for example, and we need to work with them and prepare them for further, I don't know, returning to Belarusian politics, official Belarusian politics. Irina, would you?
Just two words, two fingers. Yes, I'm absolutely agree with Olga's position, and wanted to stress that it was not idea or initiative of the European Union to frozen relations. This decision was made after Lukashenko's statement that he doesn't want, he close all relations with the European Union. Being a part of the common state with Russia. Of course, it's totally opposite Russia's interest, and he had must follow this. And yes, during the interviews, especially Olga talked with Belarusian representatives, they stress, please do not leave us alone, especially civil society. And we absolutely support this idea. This is very important because who moved the world or politics based in Ukrainian case? It's exactly civil society who can oppose official political regime's decisions. And this is the most important.
Well, very good. Thank you so much for your responses. I have few questions actually, which are closer to your report, maybe about security direction. You think that EU has capacity actually to securitize the Eastern Partnership? I myself was supporting actually this idea long ago, for years, writing about it, and absolutely agree with you that security dimension was always very weak in EU external policies, and especially with this Eastern Partnership, it is difficult. But do you think that still it is or not the issue of the capacity of EU, because EU is not a NATO still, so EU is not a military bloc, and would it be possible to introduce how feasible is your vision and your demand to introduce more security? So in security issues, I mean not only hard security, but also maybe hybrid war or related activities. So hybrid against hybrid war, the activities as well. Yeah, please go on.
Okay, I start if I may. Just several things important. We need to understand that now we should talk not about soft security, but about hard security. This is the core problem. And we need to make our security cooperation as hard as possible. And it means that the European Union should support our defense reforms, cyber resilience, the border control, and protection of our infrastructure. This is especially important for Ukraine, as you understand today. Yes? Then we need to understand that there is no European army. So we talk about coordination of Brussels with NATO forces, and additionally, we have the European Peace Facility. So we need to work with every instrument possible to involve in improving hard security cooperation. For example, with such instruments like strategic compass and several others. So this is the answer.
Wow, thank you very much. So I'm looking now maybe the audience could be more active. I had already 5 questions, actually. We discussed all of them. But if there are other questions from audience, you are really welcome to communicate us through this Q&A, special Q&A section. Now, I also would like to ask you regarding this differentiation, and also the issue is that if Ukraine and Moldova, for example, really differentiate from other countries strongly and go very fast towards this bilateral track and practically distance from other EaP countries, then do you think EaP would be still relevant to exist as such? Do you think, because what you were discussing, describing this were what were suggesting different respondents, but what about your opinion? That you made quite a research in this regards, and maybe there is also some other things that if Eastern Partnership goes more geopolitical, would it be on expense of the value-based approach of the normative, I would say, normative agenda of the EU in this Eastern Partnership? This question also is, I think, important, how to balance this normative with geopolitical. For example, if we take Georgia of today, which is backsliding very fast from democratic platform, I would say, or democratic nature, and Azerbaijan is also not democratic country, as we know. It's not my personal opinion. It's about the ratings, which we say international ratings. They place Azerbaijan in autocratic states, or electoral autocracies, or even harder. So if it goes more geopolitical, this means that these countries may be subject of softer pressure as regards to values. For example, today, European Union very much pressures Georgian government because of backsliding, because of the anti-reforms, I would say, because of this year. But if Eastern Partnership turns into the new dimension and becomes more geopolitical, maybe this pressure will be softened. And then what will happen with the transformative aims of Eastern Partnership? I think this is the important issue that could be also. So 2 topics, I think I mentioned. This is this one, and another is if Moldova and Ukraine distance from this. So what will, and they are candidate countries. Maybe in 2-3 years they will become already members. And will the Eastern Partnership still be relevant? This is one. And second, regarding the geopolitical increase of geopolitical nature of Eastern Partnership.
Irina, would you want to start?
Yes,
You can
thank
divide
you.
questions if you like.
Just maybe a couple of words about the previous question about security. From my point of view, and also we can see the similar position in the report, that currently the European Union has no time to hesitate anymore. It's totally wrong position, to think, you have Ukraine with extremely up-to-date experience in military and hard security issues, as well as in hybrid resilience. That's why this is very significant to include hard security issue to the reviewed Eastern Partnership, and to use capabilities of partner countries. This may help Ukraine to European Union to increase and to finally to find this common ground for better security and defense capabilities for themselves as well, especially with regard to current situation with NATO and the mostly US position towards NATO that undermine this organization and put the 100% of responsibility on European shoulders. Let's look on this question from that perspective, not from the old one. Speaking about normative issue in the reviewed Eastern Partnership, you see, that's why it's important to think about some well-structured differentiation among the partner countries, and to treat them from taking in consideration the geopolitical environment and situation. Maybe situation with Ukraine and Georgia and Moldova, it's a little bit more clear in comparison with Georgia or and with Belarus, it's totally different. But at the same time, again, we are speaking about that security now. It's too complex definition, too complex term, and we cannot separate normative issues, stable democratic institution, economic development from security issue. Especially when we are talking about Russia aggression, not only against Ukraine, but against other countries of the Eastern Partnership. And in this case, European Union has enhanced its normative approach to Eastern Partnership, Eastern neighborhood with security tools. And this would help it to really change and increase, strengthen effectiveness of any kind of initiative, policy, strategy of the European Union in the Eastern neighborhood. And if I remember correctly, your question, what to do with Eastern Partnership and other initiatives, or should we just say, okay, let's finish with Eastern Partnership and create something else? I'm also on Olga's side. No, the best is to keep Eastern Partnership, but to use it as an additional platform for cooperation in the fields of mutual interest, but not to use just this pure multilateral approach, because it prevents us to see the difference, to use strengthens of each partners in different issues. For example, infrastructure, Ukraine, Moldova is much better than Ukraine, Moldova, and Azerbaijan. But about digitalization, about resilience, in this case, we are talking about almost all the countries of Eastern Partnership, and European Union is the main partner in this case. With this, I will stop, because we can continue to speak about this even more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We need to go. We need to go little by little. Actually, quite quickly. We have 5 minutes left because we extended the meeting until 1:15. And let me ask you just to say one sentence which would somehow resume all your ideas and all your thinkings about the subject, about EaP. In fact, what we need to listen from you in very short, whether you support the possibility, the prospect that EaP can still survive, but needs a special adjustment with the situation, with the aims, also overviewing the progress and the results of EaP for these years, etc., and make serious reshuffling of it. This is one question important. The second important question is, I think, that this differentiation, whether EaP can be kept as a 6-country format, or it really needs some sophistication of approaches, or more differentiate and also more extend towards other countries to be more welcome, more countries in the cooperation. Then the approaches, institutional setup should be adapted to this kind of approach again. So just 1-2 sentences about these ideas, and we shall conclude, Axel, this interesting conversation.
Okay, one sentence from my side. I think EaP is temporary things, not forever, but this way may be very long. I am, of course, optimistic, but very conscious optimistic. So I think we talk about Ukraine and Moldova as a possible members of the European Union, like some possibility. This is not immediate case for 5 years, yes? And therefore, EaP will be lasting as long as we need it. Of course, after our joining to the European Union, I think EaP will not be interesting for Ukraine or Moldova. But again, this is a very long way, and we need to be more realistic about this way.
Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you. And Irina, maybe you also want to say something, just very short?
We're out of time, yes, but just maybe one sentence. From my point of view, and I guess this point of view based on our reports, that the interviewers and the experts, they see that European Eastern Partnership can be useful instrument for cooperation, both with the European Union and among the partners by themselves. What we need to done from our side, from side of the European Union, what should be done, it's exactly just to review these initiatives due to the current geopolitical situation, to the strategic some kind of challenges, and review it, thinking about, about short-term, mid-term, but also long-term perspective. Because currently, as I mentioned already, no one can understand what this is about, what will be next, what should be next, and which are the time frames for any kind of initiative or cooperation. So some kind of schedule, unfortunately, yes. Everything is changing too fast. But anyway, more or less structured approach will be very, very useful. And everyone is agreed that European Eastern policy, and especially Eastern Partnership, may be beneficial for all partners involved.
Well, thank you so much. So what you propose, actually, this is a need for a new EC communication, which will list the new priorities for Eastern Partnership policy, or maybe introduce a new policy on the basis of Eastern Partnership. Eastern Partnership itself is a part of neighborhood policy, the wider neighborhood policy, but now something more specific, tailored for these differentiated situations in the countries, and also for new geopolitical challenges and security challenges as well. So all these things are very, of course, important to be sought out clearly and decided. For EU is also very important to decide. EU is itself is in a situation that it decides to become more geopolitical itself, by itself, and also more oriented on the security cooperation. We know that EU now is trying to change its approach to the Article 42, as it is the common defense, and make it real close to NATO Article 5, actually, by its nature, to use it in this sense, to make it applied in a way how it is considered to be applied usually in NATO. So I think that with these challenges that EU as such faces, Eastern Partnership needs also something new from EU as far as itself the source of Eastern Partnership, that is EU. If source changes itself, by its nature changes, then of course the policy cannot stay as it was. So thank you very much. I think that we can continue these debates. Also, research will continue in the scope of GEO-POWER project. First of all, GEO-POWER-EU project. And also not only on the organizational level, our organizations can continue also cooperate in these issues. I want to address to Alexandra now if she wants to say something, because she really was very helpful in organizing this meeting, and she actually Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum is Secretariat is a host of this meeting, and Asuman, if you want also to conclude something and to say, please go ahead.
I'm not sure if Asuman is still with us since she had to go to another meeting, but her colleague is, and maybe he, if he wants, he can also say a few words. From my side, thank you very much for the discussion. I think this would merit a continuation, because I think there are some points on which we can agree to disagree. From the perspective of the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum, as I mentioned at the beginning, we see the relevance of the EaP. We also see the need for reform. There are some points that already exist, some formats of cooperation that can be further enhanced. However, given the fact that enlargement is an ongoing process, I think that, as one of the participants in the chat also mentioned, I think that there is a clear complementarity and a clear, let's say, importance of the EaP for all the EaP of the EaP policy for all the EaP countries that have European aspirations. It simply prepares them for what is about to happen when and if the enlargement is, let's say, an aspiration for them. So I wouldn't be so critical with the EaP policy. It is an ongoing process, and I think we also have to give some credit to it. But yes, I agree with you. The need for reform is there. Probably this is a topic for another discussion that I would be very happy to have with all of you and with the audience. And yeah, thank you. And probably we'll hear more from you as project members. Just a note, the APCSF is not part of the project, but we fully encourage you to look at all the publications that were produced during the activity of the GEO-POWER-EU project. That's all from my side. Maybe over to Kaha.
No, I think it's okay.
Yes.
So I said whatever I wanted to say. Just thank you, Irina and Olga, for very, very informative and very interesting ideas and discussions, and for their also contribution to the report and to the overall problem solving, what is related to EaP future. And thank you very much, Alexandra, for this. Thanks a lot, because I saw that there were quite a lot of participants, more than 40. Even at some point there were 49. So today in this situation, there are so many problems in the world,
Yes.
in any country. This is not few. And of course, I wanted to say Slava Ukraini finally, and say that our friends from Odessa, that I wish them to have more peaceful peaceful life and possibility to work more on research and such more humanitarian issues, and not to deal with such a survival topics and issues. Yes, thank you very much, Alexandra, and all